record, correct? I forgot to do that. Okay, I'm recording from this moment on.
Okay. In mine, it will be recorded until now, so no worries. I'll put them together.
Okay, boys and girls, before I continue, are you able to unmute yourself? Yes. Does anybody have any questions so far about the design? Okay. So let's move on to the second part of the design. So I'm gonna keep sharing my screen. Okay. So now I'm ready to group the two shapes and create my hole. So I'm taking the two shapes together like this. Okay, remember I selected them both. They both have a blue line around them. When I group them, whoops, that was a mistake, undo. Before I do that, I forgot to make this piece into a hole. Okay, so every shape could be either a solid or a hole. My green piece is going to turn into a hole. Now, when I take the two shapes together and group them, what happens is I've now created a hole straight through my shape right there. Okay, great. Now I'm ready to rotate it. When you rotate a shape, you can rotate it in 3 different directions. You can rotate it spinning around on the work plane, which is not going to help us in this case. Okay, in this case, I want to rotate it this way. See that? See my arrows? I can rotate it here and I can rotate it here. I can click here and I can rotate. Okay, if I click inside the rotating tool, I could do it by 45-degree angles. If I pull my mouse outside, I can rotate by 1 degree. But I want to rotate by 90-degree angles. Same thing that applies to the other thing. I can type in my measurements. So I can actually type in 90 degrees here to get the rotations that I want. Now, the challenging part about the design for 2D is that you can't see all the directions. So you may think two objects are aligned and they look good. Oh, it looks like it's sitting on the work plane when I look at it from this angle. It's really important that whenever you're designing in 3D, you always rotate around every time you do something to make sure that your objects are really where they are, where you want them to be. This object is floating in midair. And when I print, that's going to cause a big problem for me because it has no supports down here. What's it going to do from the work plane all the way up here? It's going to probably build a bunch of plastic that you don't need. So you really want to place that down onto the work plane. And the way I know that it's on the work plane is when I click on the triangle, I can go ahead and type in 0, so it lays down completely flat on my work plane. Okay, so here we have it. Okay, let's add the lever that's going to push the ball through the tube. Okay, now the lever is probably going to be the size of that inner tube, maybe 1 or 2 millimeters smaller, so we can easily push it in and out. So I don't want to create that tube all over again. I want to actually duplicate that tube so I can use it again. Whenever I have a chance to duplicate an object instead of recreating it from scratch, I like to do that. It saves me work and it makes things more accurate for me. And accuracy is really important when you're talking about design. Otherwise, because if you're off by 1 millimeter, your whole design could be bad. Okay, so let's ungroup this for a moment, just so we can get that inner tube again. Now I have my hole shape right there, which I can create by duplicating it again. Okay, let's pull that out so we can see it. Here it is. It's the same shape as that one, but I need it to be a solid. Okay, I can group those two back together again. Let's do that. Okay, so now let's move that out of the way. We're going to work on this piece right here. Okay, so it's a little bit too wide because it's not going to fit into that tube if it's the exact same shape. I need to make it slightly smaller on the width and the height. So over here, where it says 18, I need to make it 16. We're going to make it 2 millimeters smaller on this direction and 2 millimeters smaller on the height so that we have them slightly smaller. Now my tube is 2 millimeters smaller than the hole and it can fit right in there. Okay, now how am I going to know if it fits right in? It looks like it fits right in, but I want to make sure to align the two pieces. Now remember, when I'm printing this, I need to keep them separate because if I put it into the hole and print it, it's going to print as one piece. You're not going to be able to move it in and out. It needs to be printed as 2 separate pieces. But for the sake of testing it out here, I want to make sure that they're perfectly aligned to the center. Right now, they're both laying on the work plane, and I'm not going to be able to get it in and out. So let's align them to each other. We're going to grab 2 pieces. We're going to click on align again, and we want to align them right here to the center. Let's align them to the center on the other direction as well, right there. Okay, now they're going to look perfectly aligned. Okay, and the way I know this is if I click on this one and I move it in, it should go right through. And by the way, I'm using my keyboard to do that. My arrows on my keyboard. Smoothly into one into the other. See that? Okay, let's make a handle for this. Okay, we're ready to make a handle. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let's see. Let's choose a shape for the handle. How about something like the rounded roof? That looks good. Okay, I don't know what size I'm going to need, but I remember that this is 16 by 16, so this can't be wider than 16. So let's make this 16 or even 14. Let's make it 14. Okay, I can always adjust that size. And the handle is going to be maybe 6 on this side. Okay, there's my handle. Okay, to make the handle, I'm going to duplicate this shape one more time. Okay, I'm going to squeeze it smaller in each direction. So now I'm going to make it smaller here and make it, let's say, 10. So I get it 2 millimeters smaller in each direction. Okay, and I'm going to align these two pieces together. Let's align them. So let's use the align tool, bring them centered to each other. Okay, I need to make this inner piece a little bit smaller, maybe 8. Okay, so now I have two pieces. Let's take a look. If I make this one a different color, you can actually see what I'm trying to create here. So I have that piece going like that. Now remember that this is going to end up as a hole. So let's make that a hole. I can also stretch it out in either direction. Whoops, I'm not clicking on the right thing here. Let's see. No, that's the wrong one. I'm not able to get to it. Let's see if we can make it into a hole. Hang on. I think I made the wrong thing to a hole. Back up. There we go. The wrong thing became a hole. Stretch this one out. Okay. All right. So now I have the two pieces aligned where I want them. Okay, and I'm ready to create that hole. So the yellow piece is going to become a hole. And I'm now going to grab the two pieces together. And I created my handle. Okay, now I need to place the handle in the right direction over here. It needs to be on this. So that's a little hard to manipulate because I want to get it to the right spot, but it's in the wrong direction. So I need to rotate it. Okay, let's see if we can rotate it. So let's grab the rotation tool, rotate it by 90 degrees. And then we're going to grab the two pieces and align them to each other. So align these two pieces to each other, grab the align tool. We want them centered right here in this direction. Correct? Okay. And we want to bring them both aligned to the center in this direction. Let's see them. Okay. Now they're aligned perfectly. I'm going to take my keyboard and I'm going to move that in a little bit so I have the handle. There we go. So there's the handle to my piece. I'm ready to group. I need to move it in just a drop more. I'm ready to group these two pieces together. Group. And now I have my piece with my handle. There we go. Okay, remember that now I moved these two out of alignment because as I was aligning these two got out of alignment. So I'm going to go back to align these again. It doesn't really matter. We know they're the right shape and we know they're the right size, but for the purpose of looking at your design, you probably want to align them to each other so that they're aligned in order to be able to go back and forth inside each other. Let's check it out. Okay, ungroup and push the ball. There's my design. Remember that when you're printing this, you want to keep them separate. Okay, Hold on, I just want to stop my share for a minute. Ask me questions. Anybody? Yardena? Okay, so you guys are ready to start designing? Okay, you all comfortable with Tinkercad? Yes, Yaren? Yaren, which part of your design are you making in Tinkercad?
All of it, I think, because that's like the assignment.
Well, you remember, look at your design again. And you have some strings and some springs in your
I know
design.
I'm changing it.
You're changing your design? You don't have to.
Yeah.
Remember that you don't have to design the entire thing in Tinkercad. Okay, you are allowed to design parts of it in Tinkercad and indicate on your paper that some of your design will be made out of other materials. So Yaren, yours is a perfect example of that, because you have some pieces that could be hard plastic designed in Tinkercad, but then you have a couple of springs and rubber bands in there as well, and you have a great design. I wouldn't change it if I were you. See what I'm saying? Anybody else? Josh? Good? Okay, so I'm gonna step out. If you have any questions over this week as you're designing, let me show you one thing that I told the other class. If you wanted me to help you with your design in any part of it, like you're getting the pieces to look good, but they're not aligning, or you can't get two things to look the way you want them to look, and you want me to help you, what you could do is you could collaborate your piece with me and send it to me via email. So let me just show you how to do that, okay? If you're here in Tinkercad and you want to send me a piece, what you're going to do is you're going to go right here to the collaborate tool. That's the little share button over here. You're going to generate a new link and copy it. That link you can paste into an email. Even though you don't see what the link is, when you press copy, you can put it in an email, and that link is good for 336 hours. I don't know how long that is, about a week. Okay? So if you send me the link in an email and say, listen, can you look at my design? For some reason, this is not working out for me or whatever, I can take a look at it and I can help you with it. Okay. So if we're done and you have no more questions, I will say goodbye to you. Yes? Aliza? Good? Okay. Take care, guys.